with all due respect.
Hey, we're Josh Ortegon and Gray Achille, and this is With All Due Respect, the show where we keep it real about health, fitness, and performance. From weight loss to sports development, we're covering the conversations that matter.
Follow us on Instagram at WaterXPod, WADR, and visit PhenomBrand.com, PHNM, for performance gear and training programs built for real results. Let's get into it.
All right, we're back. This is 112, right? Is this 112?
It might be 113.
113.
I don't know now.
I don't know, but if you hear this in the background, Gray's in the middle of a storm.
Big
and
one.
I just think it's like cool background noise to have lightning and thunder, man. Like, I feel like this is an AC/DC concert, man. I'm like, this is awesome.
Oh
But
my God.
man, we got my man Donnie Beckwith on. We've been on before. He was one of the first guys to ever come on. And
Actually,
dude,
I just
yes.
sent to Josh.
Yeah.
We had you on 2 years ago, July 8th. So 2 days, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Was when I
2
know.
years,
So when
dog. 2 years.
I know. So when
back after a year, I was like, maybe.
No. No.
Honestly, it doesn't feel like 2 years. It feels like we started
dude,
this last year.
It's
You
been
know, it
wild.
doesn't feel like
It's
two.
been a whirlwind with this thing, man. But an interesting subject. And dude, you could probably, like, you don't even need to prepare for this conversation we're about to have today. Like, you could.
I didn't.
You could. That's exactly why I didn't even like fret like what the conversation was going to be because I knew what we're going to talk about is like you could like wake up in the morning and I'm like, hey Donnie, what do I got to do to compete? You'd be like, this is what you got to do.
It's kind of like what we've been doing with you now.
Well, and this is what's really so. Donnie is like he's my go-to bounce things off of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I don't.
That thunder was great timing, by the way.
Yeah. My go-to guy.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah. What if
I hope it picks up?
every time we mention Donnie's name, the thunder goes right? But Donnie's my go-to bounce off guy because like he's dead in the middle. And like I made this commitment like 3-4 months ago that I was like, hey, I got like one real shot at getting big again. Like one last like my timing's right. I got the gym. I got the food. Like, look at that. It goes right there.
I'm just going to mute my mic.
No, dude, that's the greatest. No, that's the greatest. That's the greatest. I love it.
Timing.
I love it. But, and I'm into like getting big. And we got a friend of ours that we know that's interested in competing. And I've had the competing thing. And dude, I'm not going to lie. There's like, those couple days I've woke up and I've gotten around and moved and I was like, could I compete again? Like, could I really do this? And then I'm like,
do you want to?
Do I want, well, the mood, the timing and the mood and like competing affects your whole life, your whole day. I'm not a nice person when I competed. I was really moody like the last 6 weeks. And I don't know if that's natural. Most people get that way. But I want to have a conversation around, do you really want to compete and get on stage and do a bodybuilding show, fitness competition? What does that take? What's it look like? Who are these people you see on online? Who are these competitors? What are they doing? What's their commitment level like? You know, do people really understand? And this is the first question. Do most people you work with, Donnie, because you help, you send me pictures of people you got and like, dude, you got guys and girls, you got people shredded big, like ready to go and they're dialed in. Do people really understand what it takes?
No. Short answer. No. But I'll say this. I think there's some like caveats. I think, and maybe that might not be the right word. Because I've adjusted along the way. So like I'll say what I used to do to get lean and then what I did to get lean when I went pro, two completely different things. I remember starting out and, my first show, and that was when I was still natural. Even after I wasn't natural, there was still over an hour of cardio. Over an hour. And when
a day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually 2 sessions. You mean twice a day, bro.
What are you
Oh,
talking
wow.
about?
Wow.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Have you ever done this before?
Yeah.
Mike, Greg, get back on. Mute your mic. No. No, so, and it's a you're looking at 16-week prep minimum, 20-week. And if you're natural, you're looking more like 24 weeks because you have to go slower. There's a lot of different things. But when I went pro, I did a 7-week prep. Me and my wife got ready for a cruise. I hadn't stepped on a scale. I didn't track any food I'm talking for like 6 months. And then I'm done with my cruise and I had the same question that you did. I was like, man, I could get ready for universe. It's in 7 weeks and I'm like in a good spot. And I had done no cardio, 0 cardio, and I still didn't do cardio. The most cardio I did, and it was because I felt like I was supposed to be doing cardio, I did like 1 day of 45 minutes. And then I was like, I'm never doing that again. I was like, that was terrible. So the most cardio I did was like twice, like what I did consistently. I did 2 times a week for like 20, 15 minutes.
Is this steady state cardio or is this like high intensity cardio?
I'm chilling on a recumbent bike.
Okay.
You
So
know,
not awful an hour of cardio, but
no,
definitely not fun.
but like I also like I'll do the Stairmaster. I'll do but it's still steady state. It's not, and occasionally like I've done hit. I'm not gonna do more than like 10 or 15 minutes a hit. And it's not gonna be the hardest hit in the world. I'm just gonna be honest. But I think all of that comes to play, and I don't want to jump ahead because we'll touch on this when we get to it, but it just really comes to doing things the right way. I can use my buddy Larry that I just showed you all the pictures, and I mean, like I couldn't feed him enough, and it was because we pulled his cardio when we were in his off season. We pulled his cardio to absolutely nothing because we couldn't put weight. We were trying to put weight on him, and I mean, we're like pushing 6,000 calories a day, and so
How big was he? How much this dude weigh?
we were trying to get him to 200 pounds, bro. He's like what he was at the time was like 190. We hit like 200 for like a week, maybe.
How are you getting 6,000 calories a day?
Um,
Is this like 6,000 calories a day
McFlurries.
and we're not sweating? We're not sweating food quality at this point. Like anything over 4,000 is
work.
you're just eating. It's Five Guys burgers and fries.
Yeah, well, no, I mean this was clean. I'd give him a free meal every week. Him and his wife get date night. But a lot of jasmine. I lean into a ton of fruit.
Mhm.
I hear, and I think a lot of coaches are moving in this direction. From what I see, but it's lots of fruit. I use a lot of honey. I'm not a big oats fan. If my client like oats,
I'm not doing it anymore. You told me not to. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, what's the reason?
I just don't think it's a high quality source. Like if I haven't dug into it for a while, to be honest. I don't want to sit here and spout something and act like I know what I'm talking about, but I just remember reading stuff on it that like I just didn't. The quality of it and what it does for you is not, I just don't think. So I try to get the most out of the least, and when I'm looking at bang for my buck, that's not it. I don't think it digests as well. It sits heavy.
Yes, the volume of food you have to eat of oats to get to like 75 carbohydrates in a meal.
Right.
It's not humanly possible, Greg.
So
It's
it
not.
might
Trust
be,
me.
right. It might be something better. Like if I wanted to keep somebody full when we're more in a deficit, but then again, I go back to it doesn't digest well. So then now like it's, so like lots of cream of rice, lots of jasmine rice, potatoes, um, but I'm high fats too. Like I'm not scared. So it's not just protein, carbs, low fat. When we're getting into that bulking, I do push, 100 plus grams of fat as well. So that helps with the caloric intake,
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
and so, but I don't want to go too far we can, I'll finish this off, but then we'll talk about the original question of like what it takes to compete and mentally prepare. But, we pulled his cardio. So then that way, and he would normally do 30 minutes year round, 30 minutes, 5 days a week was like his standard. And I get it, heart health, being active and things like that. But I was like, hey, this is just for a time, right? This is a phase. This is a season. If we want to put this weight on because it's not happening, we need to pull this back for right now. And so we finally did after he honestly didn't listen for a while. And I'm like, how much cardio are you doing? Oh, like 10 minutes. I said, no minutes. Like I said, 0 minutes,
Yeah, yeah.
So, but now fast forward to when we're getting ready for show, and he was at less cardio than what he used to do year round. He was at like 5 days, 25 minutes, and he was gutted. I mean, his skin was like translucent.
Mhm.
It was so paper thin. Um, and normally when we get into peak week, he's always in shape. We've never had a problem, but this was by far the best shape he had been in. And normally at peak week, we would push a fat load, which would drive all the glycogen out. So that way, his body would be ready to absorb all those carbohydrates. And we would fat load. We'd be under 50 grams of carbs, and we'd be over 100 grams of fat on peak week.
Mhm.
And we'd usually do that for 3 or 4 days, start loading them up. But this time, he never got less. So, and when I had his meals set, his lowest day was 200 grams of carbs. And this was about 5 or 6 days out. And then
You're not concerned about water?
no, and we just
No.
we tapered down. We did a new system. So normally, like I don't ever like cut water. Like you're not. I'll let someone sip. Like we'll stop drinking water at a certain time. But if you have to get like some pills down, or if there's like you've got peanut butter and it just take a sip of water, get your peanut butter down. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna kill you. We did 0 diuretics. Can y'all hear that text message on my phone?
No, you're
Or,
fine.
okay,
No, you're fine.
perfect.
Yeah, okay.
On my computer.
Yeah.
So 0, we did natural diuretics for him, which I lean into like dandelion root, hawthorn, berry, and horsetail, and caffeine, vitamin C, vitamin B. But we get up to like 600 milligrams of like oral caffeine. And so we'll start that, and then I'll try to taper him down on that as well. So he's like just can recover and rest and let his body respond. But 200 grams of carbs, 5, 6 days out. And he kept like 3 days, he kept dropping weight. So he'd get done and like say he woke up at 169 and we'd be in like post workout and he'd be like 168. And he's 3, 4 meals in, so I'm like, so I was at that point, I was trying to manage his weight. So mind you, his lowest weight ever previous going into show was 175. So we had put weight on him. We put muscle, put tissue on. And then now we're down 6, 7 pounds lighter than he had ever been. And we ended up getting down to like 165, 164. So 10 pounds
And he
lighter.
started at 200?
Yeah, right around like 198.
So he cost 35 pounds.
Yeah.
And at 200, he probably wasn't chub. Like you could probably still see abs and
Yeah, top 2.
yeah, yeah.
Little outline. Obliques never really
Yeah.
worked.
But it wasn't fat.
No, he was in good shape.
Mhm.
I don't ever let my guys get fat. Is there a layer of fat or two? Sure.
Mhm.
But like we're never getting stupid.
Mhm.
It's just there's too much work involved. And then you can't tell like what kind of tissue you're putting on. But he ended up, short story, he got 5 guys like 3 days in a row of peak week. 5, and he woke up every day with a pound lighter. And
That's crazy.
I'm adding food during the day. Hey, add 35, 40 grams of cream of rice. Cinnamon rolls, Annie's organic cinnamon rolls. That's my secret there. It's
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, he's yeah.
Crack, and they work. I'm like, dude, 2 cinnamon rolls, 1 cinnamon roll, 2. Like he probably went through 2 tubs of cinnamon rolls on peak week, plus 3 rounds of 5 guys, plus the original prescribed. The lowest was like 200 grams of carbs. Then we went up to 350. Then it was like 500. So this is on top of those. So the night before his show, we probably, I did the math. It was over 700 grams of carbs.
Was he full? Was he full?
Full as a tick and
Dude.
shredded, just bursting through his skin. And I had to feed him again that morning.
Jeez.
So
so you're hearing this dude because we're and the reason we brought this up is like this is the guy you were telling me about last week. And the question was like, most people don't know what it takes.
Mhm.
If you're a new person and say if somebody comes to you and hits you up online, it's like, Donnie, guy or girl, I don't care. I need someone to help me prep for my first show. What's your conversation?
Well, I talked to him, initially, like, do you understand what this is going to entail? Like, you're going to have to say no a lot. Your social life will, kind of go away. You have to make decisions based off of like your meal timing. You have to make decisions based off of your gym training. It's a commitment. If you want to go and you don't want to, I'm not saying you want to go and win, but like, there's people that go up there and I don't think it's, I would never make fun of anybody or anything like that. But
Mhm.
like, some people are kind of like embarrassing themselves because they just didn't do the work. I'm not talking about people that have this like huge transformation and step on stage and you see loose skin and things like that. Like,
Mhm.
there's people out there that you just know that like they could have been in much better shape. You can look at them, you can see their structure, you can see, um, you know,
Yeah.
that they have,
The new person just wants to be proud of themselves.
absolutely.
They
So
just want to get off stage, have their friends be like, wow, that's awesome. Get off stage, say you did it, go eat some cheeseburgers and be like, I got on stage, have some cool pictures, and you accomplished something cool, right? Like you
but I
did something
want
hard.
to be proud. I want them
Yeah.
to be proud of what they put on there. And I'm a little bit more than like stepping on stage is, it is because there's a lot of people that try to step on stage and don't make it. So I do think stepping on stage is an accomplishment in itself. But once you get on stage, do you want to look back and be like, man, I really could have done a better job?
Mhm.
So I talked to him about that. I talked to him about the financial commitment. I am not a large financial commitment because I know how much it costs to compete. I charge my lifestyle clients, like I don't charge people for prep. I charge my athletes pay the same thing that my lifestyle clients pay. I'm probably shooting myself in the foot because the amount of work that I do the last 4 to 6 weeks. But it also, to me, I think it all comes out in the wash because during off season, I'm not talking to you every day. I'm expecting you to follow the plan. It's a bunch of food. It should be a lot of fun. Go eat. Be quiet. Leave me alone and train. No, no,
Yeah,
but
and go train, go lift hard, hit the
Right.
gym like you're an animal.
right.
Yeah.
But then, Larry, we've got notes from like 2 weeks out where we have a collaborative notes thing, and he's given me his weight every morning. We got to a point that he's giving me weight and photos after every meal. I need to know what, so there's that. Is that the first time competitor? Absolutely not. Now, depending on what their commitment level is, I had a classic guy that went for the first time, but his it was his first show, but his goal is to go pro. So that experience was a little bit different. This dude handled it like a G. He was like a true professional. Suffered all of it, nailed it. Super exciting. But to your very first time person, um, I'll let them know if they're not doing a good job. I'll stay on top of them. I hold them accountable. I treat them like a competitor, but I also talk to them like a human. Like they're not a robot. Hey, I see that we're missing these check-ins. Hey, I see we're not nailing all of our food. What can I do to help you, execute better?
Mhm.
What's the gap that I can fill here? Where are you struggling at? But at the end of the day, my big conversation with them is just to let them know that it's not easy. But I also try to make them feel comfortable that I'm there for them every step of the way. Uh, to let them, that's my job as a coach. And it doesn't matter if they're on stepping on stage or not. You guys know, meet them where they're at. I'm not going to throw you a plan and expect you to follow. I'm going to give you a plan. I'm going to give you tools to help follow the plan. You're going to have access to me. We can text message. We can chat on my app. There's all types of avenues that I'll send you videos. I'll send you workouts. I'll send you clips on Instagram, things that I find helpful, all types of stuff. So, I think we talk about price point, we talk about time commitment. I'm really easy. Um, I don't go overboard with vitamins and supplements. I don't really like that industry in the first place. I think a lot of it's just marketing. Do I think it has a place? Are there tools? Absolutely. Um, but I, to be honest, I barely take vitamins myself right now, and I'm not natural. And I came back with perfect kidney and liver function, and everything was in range. Um, Why that is a different conversation.
Yeah,
We
yeah, yeah,
we
yeah,
we
yeah,
go that
yeah,
route now, but
yeah,
you know what I'm talking about. And
yeah.
uh, they're really popular right now, and for good reason. But should I be probably taking some fish oils? Yeah, some maybe like a multi mineral. absolutely. Well, I lied. I take creatine.
Yeah.
I take creatine.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite.
Everyone's favorite.
My suitcase. So I think and I talk to them about their budget. If what does it look like for you? Because I'll give you a list like, hey, these are the things. If it was a perfect world, we would do all of this. Let me know what you can and can't handle. Right. And then we'll go from there. I mean, I'll use, anabolics, for instance, like, yeah, would it be great to have like Winstrol, Anavar, Clenbuterol, T3, and all that when you're trying to cut retatrutide? Sure, the absolute. But can we afford all that? No. All right. Well, we'll make it work without that. With one of those, you know what I mean? So there's always, just think it doesn't have to be. So when you get people that are like, you have to have this, you have to this, there's nothing that you have to have. You have to have discipline. You've got to have some fortitude, some grit, and you've got to have a good nutrition plan and training plan. I think that's really about it. And probably in a good support system. If you're dating money or if you're married, they've got to be just as committed as you.
Yeah, that's the hardest one.
They've got to lift you up. There's times you don't want to work out. You got to have someone that'll cook a meal for you when you can't get up off the couch. My wife was absolutely phenomenal my last show. If it wasn't for her, and we were in a motorhome. So that, like, again, people with all these excuses, like I was traveling we literally drove up to New York, New Jersey, like we're in the mountains of New York, drove to New Jersey, from St. Pete. I went and took a guide, and we were living in I've been home like 3 weeks this year. And I hit my macros, I hit my goals, I hit all those things. So there's a way, like, you don't have to cook all your food. You don't have to do all those things. There's ways around it. And I think when you have a good coach that has experience with being on the road or because you're not preparing for things to go perfect. You're preparing for when it goes wrong. You're always like, anybody can yell it when it's perfect. You know what I mean? Where are you at when life punches you in the gut? What are you going to do when you leave your meals at home? You know what I mean? What are you going to do when you go to cook your meals and you don't have the sweet potatoes that you thought you had, or the egg whites or the eggs or whatever? Like these things happen. You know what I mean? And so you've got to be able to maneuver, and you've got to have somebody in your corner that can help you maneuver, and not be like, oh, you don't have eggs, you're screwed. Okay, go get chicken. Okay, what do you have?
When somebody comes and talks to you, and sometimes they're like, hey, you gotta see pictures, right? Especially if it's somebody online and you're gonna coach them and you don't see them in person. Hey, show me pictures, bikini, shorts, what you look like, and let's just kind of get a good idea of where you're at. I feel like one of the toughest conversations of somebody is like, hey, yeah, you can diet and you can do a show, get on stage, but like, you're 15 pounds of muscle off from even dieting, right? Like you don't even have the muscle to diet down, to get, like, I find when I've had people talk to me about, man, I'd really like to get on a show, or I'd really like to do something like this. And I've talked to people about talking to you before, and they're like, what has happened? And I'm like, you got 2 years of like training just to get muscle, just to get big. And I feel like that's a lot of women, right? Like a lot of women, you're like, hey, you need to train 2 years, eat 20 times your body weight in calories for 2 years, train really, really hard, quit doing cardio and training for the purpose of getting big, as muscle as you can. Am I wrong in that? Like, is that a true conversation, or is that me having a higher like expectation of like what you want to do?
A little bit of both. I said, well, one, I think you're right, but two, I think that we could probably go about it different way, because I'll put it like this. So one of your best times to put on muscle and absorb calories is right after you got off stage.
Yeah.
After being lean, after being depleted, you can handle so many more calories and put it to use and not get fat. And not get fat. Do really go eat pancakes every day for 2 weeks. You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And in the gym, you're an absolute animal in the gym. You're an absolute animal in the gym for the first 2 weeks after competing. You lift and you're like 2 sets of 10 and you're like seriously, like you're like, I look gigantic.
I mean,
I
you can't tell me nothing in
No.
there. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I told you, Josh, I'm ready to come out of this deficit so I can get back to doing regular shit at the gym.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
can't wait.
I think
so you think it's actually somebody comes to you and you're like, hey, maybe they do need to put on muscle, but hey, let's get this first show out of the row. Let's get as lean as you possibly can. One thing I told Gray, because we're talking about getting lean, and what it means, like really get lean. Like what most people are like, hey, I want to get really lean. I'm like, well, what do you think is really lean? And if you've ever done a show, you have complete body dysmorphic disorder. What you think is lean, somebody thinks is just like in shit. Like what I think is lean is like my skin is paper thin. Like that's what I think is lean, right? Yeah, I think lean is like, wow, that guy looks almost
it like
unhealthy.
snaps
Shredded.
back, like when you like
Yeah,
pull,
it snaps back. Yeah, it's really thin. It's like rubber coming off. And like, I think lean is like, I can lean back and put a pencil on my abs. Like, that's what I think lean is, that lean. Because obviously, once you do a show, you're like, oh, that's what lean is, right?
that's what it is, right? So
Yeah.
not to skip over real quick, I also think that a conversation could be had, especially with someone that's never competed or you haven't ever dieted them down. I also don't think jumping right into a show. So a way to approach that versus telling them they don't have enough muscle is I can be like, well, we need to do an off season first. I need to know how you respond to food because part of the diet down process that I use is I'm building your diet up, and what we build up, we're just taking it back down. I'm not redoing a diet for you when we get into, like we've done, like I already know how your body responds to all these foods. And now now you're getting less of them. Now you're getting less of them. Now you're not getting that. Less of them, less. Now you're not getting that. And then and so we trickle it down. And then I start using things, how they responded. We start looking at refeeds. My go-tos are sushi, cinnamon rolls, and Five Guys.
Yeah.
Those
Refeed.
are
That's,
the
you're
ones
talking Gray's love language now.
I love a refeed.
Yeah. Who doesn't? Yeah.
My fave.
I
Yeah.
know, and they've gotta be smart. And so like I've got a lot of guys that like, hey, you get a free meal every weekend with your significant other. You know, I like to. I'm a family man. I it's a priority. It can't take your goals can't take away from things that like you guys should, even if it's a home cooked meal. Y'all don't have to go out. But take that time and it's always like, and I always say it like, hey, go to date night. Hey, like I encourage them to like go and like go treat your wife out to something, because I'm sure she's put up with your crap.
Craziness. Yeah.
I feel like that provides longevity too. Like they're gonna more so enjoy their seasons because they're like, okay, well, I can still find a little bit of balance, even though my balance is now like 10% or 5% off track versus 20%.
Especially because there is going to be a time where that can't happen. If we're
Yeah.
going to be, you know what I mean? So it's like, let's do it as long as we can. Like I'll usually, so I just use Larry, for example. I've just been working with him for so long. We've got such a good, like system. We know each other really well. He's a good friend of mine as well. Like we actually competed at our first bodybuilding show together in like 2012. So to now be his coach is, it's an honor. I'm really grateful. And I had his meal in probably till like, and I didn't keep it as long this year. Usually I'd cut it at like 10 weeks. So he'd still have it in for like a little bit of like his prep. It was a little bit earlier this year because we kept getting so lean so early. I actually started his prep later, 1 month later. We usually start for July show. We start tapering down very slowly at the beginning of January. Let's get through the holidays and then let's just start,
Wow.
easing
That
into it.
early? That
We
early
started,
start tapering down? Wow.
but we started in February this year. It was almost like mid-February. So like 6 weeks later.
Yeah. So he
But like,
dieted 5 months.
yeah, but like, so when I say that though, when I say like he was on like 6,000 calories, so I like took him down to 5. You know,
Cool.
how,
No,
but
it is. It's like criminal. Like
Yeah.
the leap from 1,800 to 2,800 is huge, but 6,000 to 5,000 is like, okay, whatever.
Right. Like, oh, so I'm like, shut up. You're like eating 550 grams of carbs. I don't want to hear it. Um, so it's basically, it was like it wasn't really prep. It's like a pre-prep. Let's see how your body is responding to little adjustments. Let's see how's your metabolism doing? Do we need to adjust our cardio? Do we need, you know what I mean? It's kind of, we just start feeling it out at the beginning of February to see how it goes. We really didn't start pulling the trigger, um, probably to like mid-March, so it was about 16 weeks. That was like hard. Like we really pushed it.
Is there a difference between helping a girl get on stage and helping a dude?
100%.
What is the difference?
Well, the ranges are so much smaller, like a guy like Larry, which is extreme. So I'll use like me, for example. I didn't have an off season and I hadn't really been tracking my food. So the last time I competed, when I started tracking my food, I was like right around like 3,300 calories.
Naturally, like eating 33 just intuitively.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It was
Still pretty good. Still pretty good.
Yeah, and it was like where I was getting in shape, and then like when I needed to start like like we had 7 weeks, so it's like okay, not moving in the right direction, so we're down to around 3,000, and then we're down to like 2,800. So I would get down to like 20, so it's like 1,000 calorie difference. It's probably not a good example because I had 7 weeks. Um, I'll say this, so I've got a girl, Caitlin, right now, and she's like a huge transformation. So like when I got her, she had already lost like 75 pounds. But she was step on stage in bikini, and she's like killing it right now out in California. But she's right around like 1,800 calories, like 18, 19. We
What's
just
she
over,
weigh?
she's in her 130s now. When I got her, she was like floating around like 160. But we haven't moved the like we're only down like maybe like 300 calories.
What will she step on stage at?
Hopefully around 115.
Oh my God. She
Great.
sounds
I'm
like
telling
me.
you. I'm
I
telling
can't,
you.
yeah. I,
She's
I
got,
can't imagine being 115. Like,
Yeah.
and homegirl's got muscle.
Really?
She's got hams. She's got back. You know what I mean? So like but like I would hope I'm hoping that we don't have to go dip more than between like 1,400.
So she'll get on
Maybe
stage
down.
at 115 and you won't drop her below 1,400?
hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we might have to dip down here and there some like low days, but consistently no. I and if and again I didn't I didn't do an off season with her. She was already in this like taper down,
Okay.
and then they wanted someone to kind of reel it in like that last little bit. So it's been a little bit of a some work. What I did this last time, and it just kind of naturally pulled her calories down. I actually bumped up like food volume, but because of the food choices, the caloric intake dropped down by like 100 grams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's a lot. I mean, 100 grams is a lot.
yeah.
What? Say somebody like this girl, knowing that you said she's already lost like 60 pounds. So she's at one point she was she was a 200-pound girl at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was a 200-pound girl. She's going to step on stage at 115 and say her off season is with you. Psychologically, a lot of, and because this is just having conversation with people, their biggest fear is to get fat again.
100%. We've already talked about it.
Okay. So do you think a girl like that is struggled when you're like, hey, honey, we might have to get up to like 3,000 calories? Is she like, woo, in the off season? Or would you be really slow with it and see how she responds every 100 calories or so?
I'm really slow
Yeah.
with it. Because of that one, she's also a really good client. She listens very well. She asks questions. She accepts the answers. I'm also very
asking questions and accepting the answers in this industry are two different things.
right. No, like it was big time. And so no, but she's just a really good client to have. She's an ideal client. The ones that check it, like you don't have to chase them down.
Mhm.
That's what I tell. I just always, when I get people, I already know just by how they communicate with me, not how I communicate with them.
Mhm.
I'm like, this shouldn't be that hard to get a hold of you.
Mhm.
I already know you're not doing your job.
Yeah, right. Well, of course, when you're avoiding me, I know that you're not doing it.
Yeah,
So
what are your thoughts on her coming off show and she's like, "Hey, I wanna do my off season with you." Because she's been big, it's a nice and slow gain of calories, kinda see how she mentally handles gaining the weight back. What's the highest she'll get before, like, maybe we need to, like, mentally, she might be a girl that's like, "Man, coach, if I get above 140, I'm gonna start feeling like maybe I'm not," you know?
to be honest, as you're saying this, I was thinking I probably wouldn't take her above 140 in
Okay.
an off season.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't think that she'd need to be. And maybe I could be wrong. We might not get down to like what I see is like, oh, it's like we're gonna probably need to be around 115, maybe 120. I don't,
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so it's all a guessing game because at the end of the day, it's about the look.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I can guess all day long. I've got a client now that um, he keeps asking me, he's like, "Hey, coach, what do you think we're gonna have to get down to like BPO?" And I'm like, "At least 20 more pounds." Yeah.
Isn't that shocking for people,
Right?
though?
He's
Yeah.
he's down. So this guy was my we were getting our septic tank worked on, and I just happened to be wearing a tank top, and he was like, "Dude, you're jacked." Started talking to me. He's like, he literally looks like a different person right now. So this was January. And I just kind of shared what I do with them. I shared my app with him. And he called me and I had him signed up the next week. And he's been like gun ho. I've met his family. I've met his wife, his daughter. They like pulled up, because they live down the road. And I had some other plumbing problems. I'm like, hey, bro, we'll buy real quick. Um, so, um, but he asked me, but he's like, okay, cool. Okay. He's like, what? Because he's like, I want to compete one day. But like, he's been a dream client too. Like this dude works out in the Florida heat, doing septic tanks right
And
now.
goes and
Mhm.
trains.
I
Yeah.
had to pull his cardio. I had to pull his cardio back. I had to add food. I was like, you better get your electrolytes correct. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
so, but yeah, I don't think I'd pull her. And again, this is all a guessing game. But This is someone I would just truly listen to. If she's not comfortable with something, then we won't
Mhm.
do it.
Mhm.
Like I said, there's more that it's not. I don't have to be right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm married. I already know that I don't get to be right.
Yeah, yeah. I already know I'm wrong. I'm married. Yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah.
lose every fight, and
Yeah.
it's quite all right. So, again, we just go by the look, go by the feel. We'd have conversations, and we'd figure it out together, based off of what I think is best for her and how I share it to her, and then how she wants to move over from there. And that's like that with every client. Everybody has a personal choice when we do this. I'm always going to give them, if this was a perfect world and we could do all these, this is what I think that we should do. Let me know what you think and then how we should move forward.
I also think the industry's changed a little bit because I think science and research has shown that in order to have a caloric increase enough to gain muscle tissue, because the more tissue you gain, like me and you had a conversation recently, and you're like, I showed you a picture, and you're like, man, if you work really hard, I still think you have like 1.5 pounds of tissue you can gain. And in my head, I was like, 1.5. How hard do I got to work for 1.5? Because I'm way past the honeymoon stage, right? Like for people that have been training, getting 1.5 pounds of muscle on when you've been doing this for years is like drastic. When you're just starting out, you're like, you see these teenage kids that just start lifting hard and they're like 185 one day, they're like 210 the next week, right? Like
Ridiculous.
so I do think there's the science has changed and the strategy has changed accordingly that you really don't need to get that super deconditioned to gain muscle. Like a dude could be 15, 16, 70% body fat, and that's plenty
Yeah.
to gain muscle. A girl can be 20, 21, 22, and that's plenty to
Mhm.
gain muscle, right? Once a guy gets like 10, 11, 12, you're kind of like, you're pretty lean to put on some muscle. Is that accurate? Or is that another thing that's not true? Like,
No, I think you're absolutely right. And I think that, not all, I wouldn't have said this always, but like right now, I'm an example of that. I stopped training for 3 months because I just couldn't get to the gym. We were on the road. Like I said, I didn't have access to get somewhere. Could I have
mhm,
done push ups and pull ups? Sure. But I was throwing a temper tantrum because I wanted to lift weights. So I did
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Over
Yeah.
there stomping my feet,
Yeah.
complaining about
Yeah.
not working out. Um,
Yeah.
and I sent you my photos when I did a 9-week transformation, and I
Yeah.
look
It
like
changed drastically.
and I'm the same weight, and then
Oh, are you really?
it was the same. Like there was no weight change. It was like a 2 to 4 pound fluctuation, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. And the photos that I did at 9 weeks versus I was probably at probably 17 or 18 weeks now, blow it out the water.
Well, you heard about the dudes back in the day that used to do the Olympia. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Flex Wheeler, one of those like freak genetics, got like outlier type dudes that looked like a bodybuilder and he was 18 and didn't do anything. One of those guys. They would they'd get done with the Olympia or do like a big bodybuilding show, and they wouldn't go to the weight. They wouldn't touch a weight for 2 months.
And there's a lot. There's some current competitors now that do that.
Just completely quit because they're just like body needs it.
100%. And I'm actually leaning a lot more. I tried to get Larry to do that. He won't listen. Even if I was like 2 weeks, something. And I get it, because I've been there as well. But 2 years in a row now, I've taken a break, and all not by my choice. And I've come out the other side better every single time.
When you got back to like, hey, I got time to get to the gym now, it's cool. Were you like really pumped? We're like, dude, this is gonna be so awesome.
So excited, also so careful.
You told me, I remember you told me, you're like, hey man, like I'm out there doing like 12 sets a week of each body. Like I'm not, you're like, I'm leaving some reps in the tank, man. And I'm just feeling good every time I leave.
No, 100%. Like we're getting a really good pump, a really good squeeze. I just wanted to get acclimated to moving weight again. And to be honest, like the last year, it was about 8 weeks I was out of the gym. And that was when we were trying to purchase our house. We were on the road a lot, and there was just a ton to do. And also trying to be supportive. And like now it's a little bit different, because I just felt like where my wife didn't feel like going, or she was prioritizing other things, I felt like I wasn't supporting her.
Mhm.
If I went to the gym, I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Like I could be there helping her with the things that she thinks are important right now as well. I think now we have a little bit different dynamic that like I wouldn't feel guilty going to the gym unless she needed me to stay, then I would stay, right? Um,
Hey, tell Gray what your wife does.
she's a professional dog handler for the AKC.
I love that. I
So
got my shitty AKC over there.
But
yeah,
yeah, like
we
does
have
like dog shows, like
our
raising
That's
dogs.
cool.
Yeah.
takes them around the ring. We have two retired show dogs, and then we have three currently showing. We have three Great Danes, and we have two Chinese crested.
Ugh, I wanted a
How
Great Dane
how
so
big are these
bad.
Great Danes, bro?
My
Huge.
he's 18 months now, but at 16 months he was 160 pounds.
I love them. That
That's
was
a
like my
that's a
dream dog.
dog, bro.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever want one, people like we have. Well, we'll be breeding here soon. Our breeding didn't take earlier this year, but we'll try again later this year. So we'll be officially breeding. But we know some phenomenal breeders
Yeah.
that they're like tip top.
I decided ultimately I needed a more active dog. I love Great Danes so much, but I ended up getting a German short-haired pointer because I'm like,
You're on the go.
if I worked with you and you told me I couldn't do cardio, I would literally punch you in the face. Like I
Yeah,
walk and
it'd be hard.
and
Yeah,
walk.
yeah.
and walk.
If I worked with you, Donnie, and you're like, hey, Josh, you don't need to do cardio at all for this whole prep, I'd be like,
Yeah.
Donnie, you're probably right. You're a smart man. You're a
Yeah.
genius.
But I hate
You're
you.
wise beyond your words.
Yeah.
Again, it's all situational. So,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
we would probably have to eat more.
Yeah, which is fine. I'm really good at that. I'm
Yeah.
totally fine to eat more. That is right in my wheelhouse. But I do want to touch a little bit more on the training piece because I feel like Josh and I really hammer home like you have to train with intensity if you want overall change. But what does it take training wise? Like what are sets looking like? What is weight looking like when we're building? And then how does that change when you drop?
Okay, so my training stays the same. And I'm just maybe a little bit more strategic when I get maybe a few less working sets, but I'm very, very like I mean like obsessive about how I warm up, obsessive about my rep ranges. So I don't ever prescribe like, oh, you're doing 3 sets of 3 sets of 12. Like I don't do a number, I do a range. That range is set for 6 to 15. And there's exceptions. Like if we're doing legs, sometimes it could be like 15 to 20. But the goal is always to get the top number, not the bottom number. Right. So if I get something for example, I do, and I don't count my warm up sets. So like I do 1 to 2 sets of everything. Um, and then however many warm up sets I have before that doesn't even matter because the only sets I count are the ones that I'm digging in and beating myself to, you know what? So, 6 to 15. If I can't get 6, I went too heavy. If I got 15, it's time to move up. It and that's simplifying it, right? There's just nuances. Like if my 15 was ugly, I should probably try to do 15 till they're good. And this is really um, kept me safe because it's not like, oh, I feel like it can go up. I hit 15, time to go up. Like there's a standard, there's a method. It's not by feeling. Unless like, that didn't feel great, I'm probably going to do that again. But that puts me on the safe side of things. So I'm able I'll be 46 in December. And I would say pain free, but not currently. Because I've, been on the road. I don't know what I did. I think something's out of alignment. I wouldn't say it's per training because I'm still training really, really hard. Um, it's just not pain free, but normal, but I'm also injury free, and I train, Josh will tell you, I train hard and I train heavy. But I'm not there for hours. Like today before I came on here, I got my workout done. I did my back in 45 minutes and it was trashed. And I did 6 working sets and I did like 2 or 3 working sets for my rear delts. Um, and that includes all my warm-ups. So it's 6 to 15. I usually like to go on the high end of things though. Like 6 is really only reserved for like certain movements, usually like heavy chest, things like that. Maybe like, when I'm picking something up, I can usually do it at least 8 to 12 times, right? But it's to failure. Um, and I push past failure. I don't do a lot of supersets. I only superset on like chest and shoulders, um, on back, um, and everything else. It's drop sets. If I want to intensify something, because I'm so about progressive overload
Mhm.
and it's not. Do I think there's anything wrong with it? No. I just prefer this because I could track it. If I did the 125 dumbbell, so like I'll use it as superset, for example. If I did 125s for 13 this week, um, I want to make sure that I can go back and at least get it for 13 and those 13 be better or get it for 14. And if I grab something after it, so like my progressive overload is my first movement, and then something after that, like I really lean into like a low fly with dumbbells. I do variations of those. I've seen a lot of progress for me personally, so I just continue to do variations of those. Um, it's going to be the same weight. Like those aren't meant for me to get stronger. That's more to just drive more blood into the muscle, and then I rest. Um,
Do you
and then,
think there's a common misconception that you got to go to the training and train for 2 hours for
yeah,
bodybuilding? Like
yeah,
you're there for 45 minutes, but like you have an intentional 45 minute. Like you're there, like you're working hard, and you said you did 6 working sets, but those are Dorian Yates working sets.
yeah. No, and like, so like, then in like, say I got 10 full reps, I probably did like 3 or 4 more partial reps. Like I don't, just because I couldn't do a full rep doesn't mean I put the weight down. And that's what I see a lot. I see it with my clients. I'm like, why'd you stop? Like literally, I'm like, what did you put the weight down for? You're not
Yeah,
done. Like,
yeah.
so I explain it in a way that like when the weight starts slowing down, that's when you're growing. That's when the work is happening. If I'm doing 1, 2, 3, and all this is staying at the same pace, and I get to 9, okay, that first working rep right there in my mind, right,
Oh,
right,
yeah, okay.
yeah, that's
I
1,
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
that's 2. I need to get 4 or 5 of those in, 4 or 5 of those, which is why I pick movements that are safe for me to do that. It doesn't always have to be a free weight. So like when I still like to bench press. I like to bench press religiously. And so I don't force reps on that because I don't think it's intelligent and I want to continue to be healthy. Um, and it's not an ego thing, even though it's a numbers game for me. I also feel like if I do a good bench press session and it's still the same thing, 2 working sets. That's the only exception though, is like I'll do less than 6 reps on there. Cause if I'm trying to hit like a number, like, oh, how many times can I get 365 for? If I get it for 4, that's all right. I'm going to drop down to 315 and get it for 10. And then I'll probably drop down to 285 just if I
But if it's a cable exercise where like it's a fixed range, it's not free weights, you're getting to fatigue and then you're
blasting
smoking blast.
I'm gonna go from I don't know what it is, but like I'll go all the way. I don't care if my knuckles touch. If I could, because like where my chest is at, sometimes my hands ain't gonna touch. Depends where the pump's at. Like we're gonna get to here, and that's it. But then I'm to here, and I'm not stopping, and then I'm to here, and I'm not stopping, and then I'm gonna put it down.
I think one of the hardest things to get dudes to grow in dudes is legs. I do think, and of course, I would love to see. Wish somebody prove me wrong. Maybe it's just the self-punishment style of training that I sometimes get lost into this thing of like, there's no way I'm growing unless it's absolutely miserable. But I do think for dudes to grow legs, you have to push through a certain pain threshold that most people are really uncomfortable pushing through to grow legs.
If you haven't left the sled on the bottom of the rack, you have not trained hard enough.
Yeah. If you're not squeezing out of that sled, training legs to grow legs for a dude.
If you haven't crapped yourself, you haven't trained the legs hard.
Yeah. But like, you see girls that go out there, and I guess because girls are built different, you see girls and you're like, those don't have a big, strong upper body, but you're like, that girl's got a set of wheels. I see girls even at the gym I train now, and they'll come in. There's a couple girls that compete, and I'm like, that lower body is absolute. They have legs are huge, and the amount of volume some of these girls can train legs. I'll watch them do their leg workout, and I'm like, that's a ridiculous amount of volume they can push in a training session for some of these female lower bodies. It's crazy. If I did that, I would be crippled.
I think they're also very intelligent about how they lay things out. So it's common to prescribe a female like 3 leg days, and they're doing 6 movements on those days.
I agree. I've seen programs that like professional trainers will throw out their programs. Like Brett Contreras is a big guy that does the glute program, right?
Yeah.
And he's got these girls doing lower body 3 days a week, and the amount of volumes and sets they're doing, I'm like, oh my gosh, that would crush a dude.
But I want to know, like, say you're doing like, so for me, it's like 2 sets is enough, but then you also you can look, and I hate using pro bodybuilders because there's just a lot of things
variables
that come into play, but they have giant glutes, they have giant hams, they have giant quads, and they're also not doing what all these females are, you know what I mean? They're not doing all of those things. But that comes down to how much weight they're lifting as well.
Because the amount of tension they put on them. Yeah.
When you're
my dad's doing leg press and
something at that point, there's no way you're going to go down into a hack squat with that much weight and it's just on your quads. Nope.
No way.
Adductors, glutes, like all of it. Like you're hitting everything. So that's where load comes into, and I think that's the difference between males and females, where females, and not to say I've seen females train like dudes.
Yeah.
My wife is one of them. So, I don't, again, there's
I've seen females under 315, right?
But most females aren't going to train with and not to say it's not intense, but the same style of intensity of what a male bodybuilder or elite athlete would train. Because, and I'll use myself, for example, I thought I was training hard, and I videoed a set of my hack squat, and I was like, man, I nailed that. And I did, but I had like 3 more reps in the tank, and I'm like, I can't post that.
Yeah. Yeah. Girls too, usually because they're not as strong, the load.
My legs were shaking. My legs were shaking. So like, I'm like, oh, but like, I also thought that the weight was moving like this. And when I looked at the videos, going like that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, you're being a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, I don't curse either. That's the first time I've in like a long time.
Because you're mad about your leg session. You're mad
Right.
about your leg session. Yeah.
It's the thunder aesthetic.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
repent later. It's
Yeah.
And so, I think videos are super helpful. I know people get annoyed with like the cameras and stuff in the gym, but like I sit there and I video all the time, and it's never for Instagram. It should
I
be,
mean,
you know.
that's like progress pictures, right? It's a number one way to just look yourself in the face and be like, "Ooh."
That's how I got. Honestly, and I think I've still got a ton to learn. I also think I do know quite a bit. Um, but like that's how I got so efficient at my movements is because I just kept videoing them over and over and over, and I remember what it feels like.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
remember what it feels like, so when I see that video, I'm like, "Oh, that's what it was. Oh, that's what
Mhm.
I need to fix. Oh, that's how I do it better." So you kinda become obsessed with all facets of of what you're doing, you know, preparing for things to go wrong, having your food ready all the time, being and not just but getting better at it, getting more efficient at it. It's not just, "Oh, I get it done," but let's get better at it so I have more time during the day. Let's get better at my training so I have more time during the day so I can invest more into my family, so it's not so selfish. Um, and then also the results get better, because when you're stressing and you're rushing and you're doing all like that's actually, adding more stress, which takes away from the enjoyment of everything. When nobody likes something that you're just bad at.
Yeah.
Like it's you don't like something because you're not good at it.
I
And
still love to this day. I still love it. I've done this for years. I still love getting like you had me doing my intra carbs. I do like a intra carb, 50 grams intra carbs workout, and I do the protein shake and the gummy bears after and all that kind of stuff. I still like get really excited when I'm getting that all ready to put in my bag to go to the gym. I'm like walking into the gym. I'm still like, dude, I can't wait. Whoop, whoop. Like, like I still love it. I'm sure there's like an adrenaline rush, but to me, it's still fun to go in there and lift and like get the pump and see it and leave and be like, killed it. Like, and I've done this for years and I still like get up in the morning and be like 230 upper body pressing.
Mhm.
Can't wait. Like to
Mhm.
me, I still love it. I still, when I hear people say all the time, it's like, I hate going to the gym. I'm like, man, I don't know, dude. I love it. I put on my favorite music. I'll listen to a podcast. I'll do something. Like I'm a
Mhm.
people watcher too. Like I'm a people, and
Oh,
ain't
yeah.
no, ain't nothing better than people watching in the gym,
I
bro.
know. I text you like every day. Look at this. What this
Yeah,
guy
look
is
at this guy.
wearing.
I love people watching. So I'll get in there and people watch. I still love it, and like I still get my food. I still like love tracking. I still love it. I love seeing the change. I love seeing like, dude, I get so excited because like you were like, man, I wouldn't be afraid for you to push to 4,200 calories. And like the very next day, I pushed to 4,200. And I'm like, 4,200, boom, like yeah, let's go. Like and then like the worst thing is you wake up in the morning, you're like, and we're back to zero.
I know I got to do it again.
I gotta do it again.
I agree. I'm still excited. Very, especially being on the road like this, presents new challenges. So, um, like I'm full time on the road right now. I'm in Long Island. I fly to Indiana tomorrow. I'm there for a couple days, then I fly out and I go
Is this cheer? Is this cheer season?
cheerleading. Yep,
Oh, bro, yeah. So and like not only that, dude, you're going in and like you're
work,
active.
working.
You're working.
So I was not happy about my progress photos today, but I was happy. Like I'm forever changed, and I'm going to bring this up because we're both on this bagel kick right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you on the bagel train?
I
You do
love
bagels. Yeah.
bagels.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Love
Cinnamon
them.
bagels, dude. And I
Okay,
put honey. I went and got honey, and I
French.
put honey on the bagels now because of you.
I had a French toast bagel today from Long Island.
Mm.
There is nothing better than a Long Island bagel, and I didn't understand what they were talking about till I had a bagel that was baked fresh in Long Island.
And now you're bringing them home. Now you're like
I
back
have
in the car.
a bag of them with me.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
I
that's
had
incredible.
3 of these just massive bagel and they didn't even like toast them. They're like some people toast them, but usually like if they're like a day old, if they're fresh, it's like straight up like they're fluffy, they're soft, they're like double the size of a Thomas bagel. I had 3 of them today.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
my dream.
Donnie, one time, like I was asking him about getting the carbs in because he's the one that said no more oats, switch to cream of rice, which has been a godsend, bro. Because like, dude, a half a cup of cream of rice is like 80 carbohydrates, and I'm just like, oh, anything that's like 80 carbohydrates right now is awesome. And then he like hit me back real quick, and like he's like, hey, forgot to tell you, cinnamon rolls, bro. All right, I'll see you. He was like pumped. I thought he was gonna tell me like something serious. He's like, no, dude, cinnamon rolls. That's the route.
100%.
I love that.
Yeah. Hey, man,
too good carbs.
I appreciate you coming on, dude. I've been on this kick lately for the last 4 months of like trying to get big. It's been so, and dude, I'm still like a little kid. Somebody a couple days ago, I'm walking through work, and somebody looked at me like, dude, you look like you've gained like a bunch of muscle. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've been working hard, but inside I'm like, dude, it's like the fireworks went off. I'm like, and I'm like, oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I've been training hard. But inside, I'm just like running down the steps, playing music. I got it by myself. I'm like, let's go.
I'm just gonna follow everything you do, so I'll get big after I get back from my honeymoon.
Yeah, dude. It was like,
My turn.
I will say this: the last 2 days were the first time in a couple months where like the 4,200 was like, ooh, I don't know today, dude. Like I had a really hard leg session and I trained legs and like I still get queasy after I train legs sometimes. Like my appetite's not that great. And I trained legs and like the next 4 hours I remember being like I just want to lay down, but like I gotta figure out like 4,200 what it looks like. It was the first time since I've been like eating and you're just like, oh man, I got 500 calories and it's like 8 o'clock. You're like, I don't know, dude. I might throw this up.
I don't know if we should address the food or the leg training because
yeah.
Maybe pull back on the legs.
Yeah, probably pull back. Yeah, I told you that one time. I texted you that one time, and I'm like, dude, I'm sitting in my car right now, post leg training, and my legs are quivering.
Because that's a lot of carbohydrate to make. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't make up the rest of those calories with this move.
No, but dude, I appreciate you coming on, man. We'll do it again as always.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, guys. Love you all.
All right, Donnie. Later.
Bye.